Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the only league more competitive than Grandma's Bridge Circle. I'm TTU Phoenix with my co-caster Autumn Gamer, and today we are bringing you a Shurima division match between Dream Daddies and Ravenous. Dream Daddies are going to be fielding Cheese Blaze in top, Young Fiend in jungle, Nicky Mike in mid, ZZ Dog as ADC, and Strom as support. And on Ravenous Kumquats side, we have CCK Roscoe, Tempest, Mig Average, Istariel, and Colcane 54. Teams are just getting set up for the pro drafts now to do picks and bans. I'm excited to see this match. I actually cast the Shurima finals with Ravenous Kumquats, where they actually have been victorious. So they're returning champions, and they're looking to start their season off with a win and get rolling with an eye towards another run.
Alright, there we go. A couple of issues are at Discord on my end. Looks like we're all fixed, and yeah, like so we're my co-host said here, we got ourselves a returning champion and a challengers looking to dethrone them, or at least to make them bleed during their first games this season.
Looks like both teams are saying they're ready, so let's get set up to go into the pro drafts. Dream Daddies will be blue side. Ravenous Kumquats will be red. I think. So Ravenous Kumquats were home. I believe they're the home team, so they elected to be red side first, and then of course they'll switch sides at the half and play the opposite side.
Mm-hmm.
So that suggests to me, because in my experience, whether you want blue side depends a lot on if there's either a champion that you intend to first pick, often because you think it is going to be a contested pick, where it's kind of if we don't grab it first, the other team will take it. So I'm wondering what Dream Daddies thinks is going to be a pick that is sufficiently important to first pick. And on Ravenous Kumquat's side, given that they chose red, that suggests that they want to get counterpick, probably for one of their solo laners, to make sure that Roscoe or Meg Average are in the best possible matchup that they can. So we've got Diana and Fiora bands coming out.
Dogma coming up next, and we're just waiting here on Ravenous Kumquats to finish up their ban 2 for red side. One thing I can say is, kind of especially with recent patches, we have seen a bit of a shakeup in both in the jungle and in top lane. As well, support Zillion coming down by the way for Ravenous Kumquats. They are denying that, mostly from mid. There's the Wukong ban. Wukong is a very strong champion right now, so not unsurprising to see him on the ban list. And Bard coming out as well. Bard is a sleeper OP pick in support, so.
This looks to me more like a kind of like one of everything approach to bans, where you're just like, all right, we want to ban, this is their favorite support, this is their favorite top laner, this is their favorite ADC, as opposed to trying to target like a specific role to channel someone onto a given pick. And Dream Daddies do go with the Soraka first pick.
So bit of a spicy pick given the current meta here, but Soraka very good support overall. Her kit is kind of always viable in support, especially with the heals and utility she brings. She can also be surprisingly oppressive in lane when combined with certain AD carries. And Ravenous Kumquats looking to hover the Sejuani here. They're not changing it. They do lock that in, so they got themselves a thick, with extra Cs, tank to hold that front line and start their engage fairly reliably with her ultimate and her stuns.
I think choosing the appropriate draft around Sejuani is going to be important. I play a fair amount of Sejuani, and playing Sej on a team with no or like only one other melee can be a real pain because it's hard to get your stuns off. They did choose Thresh, who is technically a ranged champion, and thus he does not apply Frostbite stack for Sejuani.
However, he does also provide secondary engage for Sejuani as well. So there is that. Now, unfortunately, one thing they didn't do, they did pick Sejuani, but they didn't ban Trundle. So I'm wondering if it's like that Dream Daddies doesn't play Trundle. And it looks like they're not. They're going to pick the Olaf to go into Sejuani instead. So they pick the different route rather than the steal all her stats and make her useless. They're just going to try to run her down or run past her.
Yeah, and that's a pretty effective choice because Olaf's a really strong early jungler, a strong early duelist, whereas Sejuani is not. And so he can definitely control the early jungle, the early game, and threaten to invade. And then, as you mentioned,
we got Tarek. Is this going to be a Soraka top then?
It's interesting. If you wanted to run Soraka top, picking it first would let you potentially bait the other team into trying to counterpick the Raka. But now that you've also picked Tarek, you
Yeah.
know. All right,
And
Ravenous
that's a
Kumquats.
Renekton. Okay, that's Renekton coming in. I'm not seeing anything calling for a remake on the draft, so it does look like the Tarek is definitely intentional. So we'll figure out where that goes.
Yes.
And Ornn is banned, so they're calling our bluffs here. They're saying that Soraka and Tarek are not, neither of those is a top laner. Silas is going down
Yes,
for
Mig
Dream
Average plays
Daddies.
Silas very effectively in 2 or 3 of the games during the Shuriman finals last season. So Dream Daddies definitely did their homework, and they decided to take that power pick away.
And Ophelios removed as well, which is perfectly fine because that champion is broken. So
Do you think it could be like a funnel strat with
it
like a
could be,
Tarek?
but Funnel was like
It has just been nerfed. That's
yeah,
true.
Funnel has been giga nerfed like several times in a row. It's not a viable strategy at the moment. Syndra does go down as well, so they're banning double mids. Kaisa picked up, so it's a Thresh Kaisa bot lane that's actually pretty good. It's
Yeah,
not the most aggressive, but Thresh does enable Kaisa to actually trade in lane.
there's a
So
lot of hard CC on the side of Ravenous Kumquats that'll set up Kaisa's Killer Instinct. Renekton obviously instantly stacks the Frostbite for Sejuani with his Empower W. So I would like to see maybe a
it's a hover
melee.
Malphite. That's a lock-in Malphite. We got a team comp set up to crash. This is going to be quite possibly like a. This is probably going to be a just 2 team fight comps going at it here from the looks of it so far. I mean, last pick may
Yeah,
change it for the either or,
I assume this is going
but
to be ADC here. They need something. I'd like to see like a Jinx or something that has real. Varus,
Varus
okay.
works. That
I'd
works.
like to see him go on hit because my concern looking at the rest of their comp is
They don't
like
have
I feel like
damage.
yeah, Tarek and Raka can enable the Olaf really well, and Malphite will initiate, but Olaf is going to be their only damage source, and he's going to fall off. So if you've got a good scaling build on Varus, I think that will counterbalance it. Who do you think is the mid? I assume it's either Tarek or Soraka.
I would say it's probably going to be Soraka as the mid laner, just because she has the range and the ability to clear
Yeah,
waves with her Q. Tarek, while he can survive in mid lane against some champions, is a bit of a risky pick, and that's going to be an Ari coming in for Ravenous Kumquats. So that's even more CC, and that's also better damage.
that's true. Yeah.
Overall, like Ravenous Kumquats has every champion on their team, but the AD carry has CC, and their AD carry doesn't need their CC to begin with. Every champion is either mobile or has a way to stop mobility on Ravenous Kumquats, and they
Yeah.
all have the ability to deal some semblance of damage. Like even Sejuani and Thresh actually deal a surprising amount of damage for their role.
Man, the box hurts from Thresh, and Sejuani with the percent HP damage is quite effective.
Yeah,
Ravenous
she can be able to
Kumquats
shred
is
down that
definitely
Malphite.
yeah. Ravenous Kumquats has run. They're running a pretty standard composition. You got your classic bot lane, top jungle, like no huge surprises there. Dream Daddies to me, this looks like a composition that they probably practiced or at least hopefully discussed ahead of time. And I think they're kind of gambling on Ravenous Kumquats not really knowing how to respond to this unusual draft. But I am interested to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I can definitely agree there. Now, one thing I do see being an issue for Dream Daddies is their composition falls off at like 15 minutes realistically, unless Varus builds on hit, and even then it still falls off pretty hard.
Yeah, they're
Because if
kind of
Varus is the only one doing damage, he gets picked by Renekton and he dies. You know, he gets picked by Kaisa, he dies. He gets nailed by Ari Charm, he dies.
All right, so it is going to be
Like,
the Soraka mid. Nikki Might will be playing the Soraka mid.
okay, yeah, that's to be expected there. That's going into the Ari. Neither of these really has wave control. Interestingly enough, Soraka's only wave clear is an AOE hit for a good chunk of damage. Ari literally can't control waves because of how her Q works.
Yeah, her wave
So
clear is not exceptional.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that works. It is going to be down to who trades better.
One thing I'm a little concerned about is, given your point about Dream Daddy's comp falling off, is that they're also not really an early game controlling comp. Like Olaf is a strong early jungler, yes, and Varus Tarek isn't awful, but Thresh Kaisa is a pretty solid lane. Ari is going to have threat and pressure on the Soraka at basically all times. And
Yep.
Renekton's a classic early game bully, and Malphite's going to need some armor items before he really can stand up to him. So by the time that some of their team is really online, they may have already fallen off. That the window of opportunity for Dream Daddies could be pretty small here.
I think their best bet is really to try to just out-rotate Ravenous Kumquats and
True.
just try to claim dragons. Like, this to me looks like a team that's dependent on either Ocean Soul or Infernal Soul to actually be useful.
True. Ocean Soul would be incredible. They'd never really die with it.
Yeah, like that's Ocean Soul, and Ocean Soul's probably their ideal win condition there, because with Ocean Soul, Soraka's job gets easier. Infernal Soul actually makes it so their team has damage,
True.
which they need. However, if you look at Ravenous Kumquat's team, realistically, any soul but Mountain is still good for that team. Kaisa
I think Mountain would be really good for them, just because Renekton, Sejuani, and Thresh are going to be such great front line with them.
Yeah, like even Mountain, and the reason why I say that is Mountain Drake good on 3. Every other Drake is pretty much good on every single one of these champions. Even Sejuani likes Infernal Drake to an extent.
I would actually think an Air Soul would also be really good for Dream Daddies, just because an Olaf with the Air Soul movement speed could become really hard to keep out of your back line.
Yeah, but the same thing, however, also applies for the Renekton and the Kaisa too.
True.
So it's like,
I think Ravenous Kumquats are going to need anti-heal pretty early. We should see like a second item Morello out of Ari. I'd like to see Thorn Mails out of all of the frontliners, just because Varus is probably building Lifesteal, Olaf heals, Rocket heal, Tarek heal. Like all of them are going to be benefiting from healing. So we are going to the spectator delay. The game is loading in, but we're on a 3-minute delay. So we will continue to bring you the finest of analysis while we wait.
Yeah, now, unfortunately, at least for me, I can't see their summoners yet. So one thing they could do, one thing they could do is they could definitely bring like Ignite in 3 lanes if they really wanted to, and if they're just going to sack split pushing, which neither of these teams are really set up to split push anyway, outside of maybe Renekton with teleport.
True.
So they could 3-lane Ignite, and then that would, like, yes, it's not the best anti-heal, and you're kind of relying on a summoner spell for most of your team fights, but that gives you enough pressure early lane to kill heals and make Soraka's job that much harder until the actual anti-heal items come in. And yeah, you are right, they're going to need anti-heal on at least 3 of those champions. Ari's probably building Morello.
Yeah.
Kaisa's probably building
Mortal Reminder.
Mortal, or Executioner's Calling. Renekton kind of can do whatever he wants, because I think he actually does more damage than Soraka's healing with how fast he can get up, but eventually he'll also need anti-heal.
Yeah.
So, like, realistically, they're in for, like, the other... So, actually, I just realized another thing we haven't talked about yet is Tarek's ultimate. That actually may swing the fights a little bit, because if you can delay Ravenous Kumquats long enough for Varus to actually get his damage off, or for him at least to get his ult off, that could result in a few key picks. It's really just a matter of...
is that the Tarek Bastion link will just be on Olaf, because that way Olaf ults and runs in. He's literally unstoppable and invincible the entire time. Tarek can try to get a stun off to help Olaf run people down. Like, the Tarek Olaf combo I really like, and Soraka and Olaf is going to be good too, because she's going to keep Olaf alive really effectively. I am a little concerned by the Malphite pick instead of something that brings a little more damage. Unless it's going to be an AP Malphite, but I find that unlikely.
Yeah, AP Malphite, I mean, even then you still run into the same problem as normal Malphite with this team composition. He does 1 quick burst of damage, and if he doesn't absolutely kill whoever he hits, or whatever he hits, you're a moderately squishy rock in the middle of a team full of people who will kill you. Like, Sejuani can itemize against that, or itemize enough HP that she can literally just intercept Malphite's ultimate. And then what are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
You get intercepted by a Sejuani, you get locked down and stunned up. Thresh probably Lantern shields Kaisa, who's what you're going to be going for. That can stop him. that can stop him from instantly killing her, and then Kai'Sa can just get away, or Thresh can lock Malphite down. And yes, you're going to have the other team diving in after that, probably. Olaf might be running after Kai'Sa. But, you know, depending on your soul...
I'd expect this to be a traditional tank Malphite. And looking at runes, he took Grasp, which says to me that he's probably just going to be going a standard tank Malphite. So we
are also going Lethal Temple Varus as well, so this is probably going to be the on-hit Varus.
Yep, I like the cleanse on the Varus because there's a lot of kind of like point CC on the side of Ravenous Kumquats, Aria Charm, Sejuani ult, Thresh Hook, where it's like you get hit by one thing and then you die in the follow-up CC. But if he can cleanse that Aria Charm and then flash out, that could be hugely impactful. We see Conqueror on the Renekton and the Olaf, Aftershock on the Sejuani. I find the Domination secondary interesting.
Probably for Zombie Ward.
And then my guess would be a Sudden Impact.
Yeah. Which would make sense because just that little bit of extra damage still helps her out anyway. Also, Aftershock.
Zombie Hunter and Relentless Hunter. Zombie Ward and Relentless Hunter for the out-of-combat movement speed.
That's actually great because the faster she can go, the better off she is with her ability to do her job. So that's actually really smart there. That said, the reason why she's running Aftershock here is they have an Olaf. So if you're running if they run Trundle instead of Olaf in this situation, which they probably could have done, you know, Sejuani, you never take Aftershock on Sejuani if they're running a Trundle.
No, I expect it. It's more the domination secondary. I like a precision secondary for the attack speed. I've tried domination secondary on some tanks, but in my experience, I feel like it doesn't give you enough damage for the utility that you can get out of precision with things like Triumph. But we'll see how it. Mega Average takes the Electrocute instead of Glacial Augment, so I'm guessing this will not be a Glacial Ahri.
Yep. So
that's summon area on Soraka.
Expected, and it looks like we are getting the 5-man spread here, so they're not going to be trying any cheeky invades, although I will say that Ravenous Kumquats has the better level 1 invade, and there's going to be a little bit of trading here. Olaf does take a tap, but he's going to walk away and ward up, and he's forced to burn Flash because Sejuani's there.
See, I actually don't think he needed to burn Flash there. Sejuani took her E, so she didn't have her gap close, and she didn't have her W. So, like, okay, she autos him once or twice, maybe?
I think he was more afraid of the Thresh hook, because if Thresh does get his hook in there,
then they would
Sejuani gets her stun. So, I think still smart flash there because of the Thresh hook. They are going to both sides are starting red buff, so Renekton will come into lane a little bit late here, relative to Malphite, but won't miss CS. Bot lane takes advantage of the vertical start here to gain massive lead there, and actually Thresh starts Flay, so that actually is again another reason to burn Flash there because Flay does the same thing. So
yeah, I would have liked to, mostly at standard starting, I would have liked to see Corrupting. I'm always going to harp on Corrupting Potion. I'm going to be honest. If you intend to watch the stream for any amount of time, you're going to hear me talk about Corrupting Potion. I would have liked that over the D shield on Malphite. Shield's a safe option, but Malphite runs out of mana so fast. He has such high mana cost, and I believe Cheeseblaze did take mana flow ban, which is a good idea, but like that's not necessarily enough. All right. Oh, he's so low. Wow. That is first blood to Ravenous Kumquats. Good use of recognizing that they're going to hit level 2 first because they have the push advantage, and then just an easy hook. ZZ Dog doesn't burn any of his sums, I think not expecting to take that much damage there. Nikki might trading very effectively, but taking a lot of damage in return. So Sejuani's hanging around the bot side. She's going to go for bot side crab. Oh. Alright, good combat of Roscoe. Malphite's able to trade back with Grasp, and they're even on health, but he is down on CS, and he's burning mana pretty quickly to do that. Both junglers will just trade the crabs, get one each. Sejuani did red to her full blue side. Olaf did red to Raptors to blue side, it looks like. So he's slightly ahead. He's one camp ahead.
Okay, we do also have a bit of a vision invade here, so Sejuani getting that ward in that little red side, the little bush opposite of red. And she's gonna go for a gank here. Soraka doesn't really have an escape, but Olaf is here.
Does Mega Average have the no, Charm is on cooldown.
Yeah, so that's why they didn't go for it there. However, Olaf, yeah, he's not gonna go for the wraparound gank, although he definitely has the opportunity here. Ahri is a little, not Ahri. Oh, it's gonna get so confusing. He instead goes for stealing Sejuani's Raptors. Sejuani's stealing Olaf's Raptors, so either way, that pretty much nulls out. Both lanes.
Slight advantage for Sej actually, because that's the second spawn of the Raptors for Olaf's side, and only the first Raptors for the red side Raptors, so it's a slight XP advantage.
Alright, so Renekton doesn't have vision here, and Olaf takes a smart path. So this is a possible gank here? Oh no, he could have committed. He could have committed. Yeah, he's dead here probably. So Flash is burned.
He gets the redash, so he does have to flash, but he escapes.
Yeah. I think if Olaf commits around that side there, Renekton dies.
Yeah, I think so too. As long as what he wouldn't need to do is have Malphite hold the Q to guarantee the undertow, and then they would have been able to run him down with the chain slows or force the flash.
Yeah. Instead though he burns Flash, and he's probably got the burn teleport here. No, he's not. He's not gonna run teleport at all. He's just gonna walk up. Malphite doesn't have the pushing power here. And I think he's trying to establish a freeze. Although he's Malphite, so yeah. No, good luck freezing.
Took the sweeper on his first back, but was sitting in an unwarded bush, and finally decides to sweep it, and discovers he's been sitting on a ward the whole time. Malphite's back. How much gold does he have? He's got 1100, so he should have a Cinder here.
Let's see.
Glacial Shroud's fine. Ooh, he goes for the Bramble Vest.
Bramble Vest, yep. And it looks like Olaf looks like he's possibly coming in for a gank. Kai'Sa is forced to flash. That's a good play from Thresh though. They are trading back. They actually win that trade overall in HP. Except for Varus trying to stay a little long there. So overall, that's a win because the flash is burned. No other summoner spells look like they were burned during that fight. However, Olaf is now locked down between two champions. He's going to get stunned up here. Yeah, he's going to get stunned up. That's a stun trying to come in there. Ahri is locked down. She's forced to flash. Hook misses.
Doesn't have the mana.
Yeah, Undertow is available. Just misses. And that's the 3v. It's now the 3v3. Teleport was going to be burned, but Renekton with the stun stops the teleport from coming through. Saving his laners there. Olaf is right behind. That's a good hook. Thresh is still alive. Turret shots are coming down, so the dive doesn't happen. 4v4 fight happening here inside of bottom lane, and now they're just setting up the minions. I think they want to go for the turret dive because health bars are getting rather low for Ravenous Kumquats.
However, Soraka's out of mana. Like, there's no mana on the side. Yeah, they're gonna back off. It's really shocking that no one goes down there. So many people get so low.
Yep. But they are, however, gonna claim this first Ocean Drake. So, worst case scenario, soul for Ravenous Kumquats Ocean is not available this match. Yep. So that's unfortunate for Dream Daddies. That does mean that their composition is going to be weaker. However, they do get the health regen, which does help a little bit.
Yeah, especially in some of these lanes like Malphite or Raka, where you expect them to kind of struggle a little bit. But that said, they're not down that much in terms of CS, so they've done a good job of not getting pressured too hard. Osmo's trading, but the Bramble Vest is doing a lot of work here.
Yeah, Bramble Vest is doing work. However, there is an Ahri. They're not going to go for it.
I believe she, that push is warded. Thresh has gone Moby's very early.
Yeah, he's looking.
It's itemizing into armor. Raka is just backing for the first time. I assume this would be her lost chapter.
Yeah.
Unless she's gonna go for, like, Athene's maybe.
She could go Athene's. She could even try for Ardent early, but it's a little iffy.
Yeah.
She doesn't get too much out of it.
For once, I'm gonna say Raka. I'd like you to build Luden's Echo, because I think that the mana and lane control are gonna be important. It's still a big chunk of AP.
She desperately needs the wave clear, because right now, their team does not really have much. Like, Dream Daddies right now does not really have all that many options for their wave clear. Just they have Varus.
And Nikki might needs to back. Nikki Might is sitting on 2,000 gold, and one of the issues is gold doesn't help you until you actually spend it. So all of that theoretical strength she has with the money she's got isn't actually real, and she's just sort of sitting in lane, last hitting minions and queuing waves occasionally, but not really. All right, she's going back now. Not spending the gold to get the advantage that it will bring you. And full buys Athene's Unholy Grail, so my guess is she was waiting for just enough.
Yeah, probably. Which that is a good buy on her. It's not going to be particularly strong right now because she doesn't really have the AP to make it strong, but she does have the ability to later on, especially if she gets. Yeah, he's probably.
Roscoe's in danger. He does have Dominus available.
Okay, he does have to pop that. Ari gets a good lockdown onto Olaf, but Olaf is
the Soraka
ult. Yeah, they didn't have Ignite. If they had Ignite, he dies there. I think. I think there's enough damage with Ignite. However, there is a gank going down. Trades happening in bot lane. Taric forced to burn heal, but he is going to eventually burn down to Kai'Sa. They do give the kill over. Ystrel has a kill now.
Israel gets hit with the Sejuani ult on the backside of the fight, and it burns his cleanse to try to continue to put out damage, but he's not able to convert it and get a return kill.
Yeah, so that's one death each in bot lane. It is also a CS advantage up to the Kai'Sa, which is very dangerous when a Kai'Sa gets her CS advantages, because, yeah, she's kind of weak in the early game, especially after all the work Riot did on her. If she gets CS advantage, though, she gets very strong very fast. She's definitely what one would consider to be a hyper carry. And they are going to burn down for a plate here, so this is going to be plate number 2. They do get that. They do back off. Kai'Sa does make sure to clear a few extra minions. And no, they're not going to back off. They're just going to shove this wave in and try to deny a little more CS. Ooh, that's a good... The hook does go through. He's not going to burn it. It's a bit of a stun for Thresh. Flay comes out to knock back.
Come out.
Yep, they do miss.
No, I think they hit. I think it just wore off. Or no, it didn't root him.
Yeah, it didn't root at all.
Oh, okay. Just short. I think Verishold is usually regarded as one of the skill shots that's easiest to miss in the league.
Which is funny, because it has, it's actually pretty, it's a pretty big skill shot. It's actually surprising how often. Oh, that's a good chunk coming down onto Soraka. She does go for the silence. The root doesn't come down, though, and Ari does have the potential advantage. Misses with the Q, though, and that will be the end of that trade. But, you know, Rocket does not have much to say. So if damage you do put down onto Soraka actually does matter.
Yeah, and notably, the Chalice of Harm, the Unholy Grail, excuse me, only allows her to get bonus healing on other people. It doesn't actually help her directly. It gives her a little bit of health regen. It gives mana regen.
Yeah, which is more important for Soraka right now. Anyway.
Yeah, I thought it gave health regen when it's the Chalice of Harmony, but maybe it just converts to mana regen. I don't use enchanters, so.
No, it doesn't give health regen. The one that gives health regen is Redemption, because Redemption uses the arm, uses the bracer. Which, yeah, of the major enchanter items, really, so the big 3 enchanter items are Athene's Ardent Redemption. It's Athene's and Ardent are both mana regen items. Redemption is a health regen item.
Sometimes
all of them are, very rarely. It's actually one of the weirder items.
Fight around dragons.
Yeah, that's Bastion coming down, so that's the Taric ult. It's gonna be that's gonna be a dead death and a dragon. Again, they just don't have the... I think Soraka's ult went down there as well. There's a lot of healing coming in. They just don't have the healing reduction yet to fight this, so...
Oh, and two birds with a single arrow from Varus.
Yeah, so they need to get that healing reduction pretty much online as soon as possible, because that's what's killing them right now, is they're just being out-healed.
And they don't even get the dragon. The dragon goes to Dream Daddies.
Yeah, however, it is Mountain Drake. So, least a desirable Drake for either team, but still very strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
now,
it's a good hook on Taric to start the fight, but they don't kill him before Cosmic Radiance goes off.
Yeah, I don't think they committed quite hard enough. That's also going to be a Rift Child coming down as well. They're probably not going to be able to get this tower, though. They do get extra plates. It's only Olaf, who does get hooked. He may have to burn Ragnarok here.
I don't think
he does get charmed out. He's not getting out of that.
Yeah, that's a... That's a kill.
And yeah, no, he did not have Ragnarok, so he had no way out of there. So that's just an overstay. That's a hook. The cleanse was burned too early.
But he's managed to. ZZ Dog is able. Actually, I think he cleansed appropriately because he wasn't stunned anymore. So I think he was able to then flash after getting hit with the hook.
Yeah, it looked a little weird there. He did get out though. He did burn cleanse and flash, so that is a good trade. Flash hook for cleanse flash, fine. Flash for flash and extra summoners. Yeah. This, however, may actually be enough to take this tower down. It is the first turret blood going to Ravenous Kumquats.
So they've now gotten themselves a small gold lead, about 500, even though they're down 2 kills. But there are 2 dragons on the side of Dream Daddies.
Yeah, there are 2 dragons, but right now dragon leads aren't the most important. Now, if they can get their healing reduction in the next few minutes, in the next 5 minutes, the Mountain Drake, 4 Mountain Drakes on this team comp will actually be kind of nuts. Because that's just a lot of bonus resists, and we're talking about a Sejuani here, who is the queen of bonus resists.
Yeah, her resists scale off of her own resists.
Okay, that's...
Oh yeah.
That's Iceborne with Bramble Vest. Like, you don't win that fight right now.
Yeah, the problem was that Roscoe kept allowing himself to be traded with on the short cooldowns that Malphite has at this point, and he just gets chipped down. He needs to take a short trade and back off for his own cooldowns to come up, because right now the extended trades are not favoring him.
Yeah, either that or what they could do is they could actually rotate the Renekton into a side lane and put Ahri up against Malphite, because Malphite has nothing against Ahri right now.
Yeah, no health, no MR. Is he running conditioning? Yeah, he's actually got a decent amount of MR. Okay, he just finished out Merc Treads.
Yeah, which will help.
Yeah.
However, it's still, Ahri is still the best person to fight into him right now.
Yes, that or Kai'Sa, if she doesn't get hit by the ult.
Yeah, actually, Kai'Sa could try, instead of building the straight on hit, she could try for the hybrid build, which I think would actually do quite a bit against Malphite.
Yeah, I really like Essence Rerun Kai'Sa. I really like the CDR, I like the Mana Restore. I like it more than the Manamune build, which scales better into late game, but the mid-game spike on Essence Reaper is really strong. Okay,
so they're aware of this. This is likely to be a 4v3 right now. That's a good hook that comes down. Malphite comes in, Kai'Sa explodes. And again, they just currently, their Ravenous Kumquats isn't ready to face this composition yet. They're fighting a little too early.
Yeah, no one's really threatening Rocket in the backline. Oh! Nikki Mike flashes over the wall for the kill with, what's it called? With the Star Call.
Yeah, Star Call. Oof. Yeah, that's you know you're in a bad spot when the enemy's mid lane Soraka has 150 gold bounty and a double kill.
Yeah, both teams are checking for wards. Malphite cues Sejuani and then quickly recognizes I can get her plus Kai'Sa, pulls the trigger on the Unstoppable Force, and Varus ult hits the Thresh, and then by the time that Kai'Sa comes down from the Malphite ult, she's already been rooted by the Chains of Corruption, and she's just toast.
Okay, Malphite gets hooked up, but that's not really the person you want to hook as Thresh.
No, it's not going to do much damage to him through the shield.
Yeah, they are going to go in there. That's a flash forced to burn out of Tarek. An Ignite does come down, finally.
That'd be Cole Kane, yeah.
Yeah, okay, Renekton in the backline though, that's pretty rough. Tarek gonna get traded out here. Charm does not go in just yet. Mono stun up on the Malphite. Malphite is, if they can get it, okay, they do not. Malphite does decide to re-engage though. A lot of damage down on health bars.
The backline.
Yep, there we go. Ahri's gonna get run down now. Thresh also gonna get run down. They just don't have the damage and they don't have the anti-heal to deal with this at the moment.
Are they gonna give him the Penta?
Oh, Sejuani's running.
They're looking for it. Olaf's come here. But Sejuani's gonna bail out. She's gonna clear top side.
Yep. Ooh.
Yeah, so what happens is they have what they think is a good chase, because they picked off the Tarek with the Renekton flank. They stunned up the Malphite, they force his flash, but they overcommit. They chase too far. Malphite's ult has come back up. and he turns it, and Olaf just flashes into the back line, and Ari can run, but she can't kill the Olaf. Kaisa's already dead because she got hit by the Malphite ult, and then it's 2.5 tanks against an Olaf who's life-stealing a bunch. He's already got Cinderhulk, he's building Cleaver, and then some other physical damage item like...
Yeah, a bot lane turret does go down during this exchange, by the way. So Ravenous Kumquats, they're decently, they're 33k to 28k right now. It's a pretty large lead, especially in the mid game. They still are on a clock. We need this, like, I can't stress this enough. Yes, they're ahead now, and they're pretty far ahead. But if they don't end this game sometime in the next, like, 5 minutes...
Olaf's gonna fall off a cliff.
Yeah, Olaf falls off a cliff. Malphite, yes, he's building resists, and he does have that Bramble Vest. He'll be tanky. He'll fall off a cliff. Soraka won't scale hard enough. Yes, she is a mid laner, so he's running mid lane economy right now, but that won't scale hard enough, especially if any of the healing reduction comes in. Which so far, I do see two longswords in Rex's inventory that could be building towards the Executioner's Calling.
Yeah, it might be team as well, but I think Ari is going to be the first one to have it with what I would assume is a Morello's next.
Yeah, that would be ideal. And
part of the issue that you're going to face on the side of Dream Daddies is that if Olaf goes too deep, he's just going to get hit by Gravest Wounds and focus down, and Raka won't be able to heal him without exposing himself to too much danger.
Yeah, and that's the thing right here too. Like, the biggest thing okay, that's actually, speaking of a pick, Varus does get hit, but he does cleanse out. Box is forced to come down from Thresh, and they're just gonna back off. They exchange 2 ults for 1, and we have a disconnect.
Are they gonna pause it?
Yep, yes, the pause does come out.
I was like, he's either really confident that his team can win the 4v5, or he's disconnected.
Probably looks like he probably had a disconnect, so we're just gonna wait for that to come back up.
So yeah, during this fight, it is a good pick from Sejuani. There's a lot of cooldowns burned. The Thresh ult, the Ari ult, the Sejuani ult are all down. So the ult situation really favors Dream Daddies because all of their ults are still available. But Roscoe's pushing bot side. I don't know if he did not take Demolish, but he should still be able to do a lot of damage to that tower.
Yeah, especially those tier 2s. Those tier 2s don't have the fortification that the tier 1 bot lane does, so that one can be burned fairly quickly.
I think what Dream Daddy should do here is they should force the Baron. They are significantly ahead. They have all of their ults up, so it would be very dangerous for Ravenous Kumquats to try to fight into them. Roscoe doesn't have his teleport, crucially, so he can't come join the fight. So yeah, all that they have left on Ravenous Kumquats side in the area is Kaisa's Killer Instinct. Whereas, you know, the Wish, the Chains of Corruption, Cosmic, like everything's up for Dream Daddy. So I think the play for them here is force the Baron. Let Roscoe get the tier 2 tower. You don't really care. It's a few hundred gold, whereas you get 1,500 gold for taking out the Baron. And that will help your team get the objectives, particularly the towers, that you need to stay ahead before your composition falls off.
Yeah, and like we said, they still have basically 25 minutes, assuming normal, farm cadence. And I say it because Kaisa is farming fairly well for 25, 154 CS, given the chaotic nature of this game, is pretty good. Ari is farming ahead of Soraka. Renekton is farming ahead of Malphite. Even Sejuani is actually doing pretty well, considering she's a tank jungler.
Yeah, so notably, even though it is 13-4 with 3 dragons and a 3 tower lead, it's only a 5,000 gold lead, which is not insurmountable. It's very tough. Like, 3k is where you start to, like, really feel the gold lead. 5k is definitely noticeable, but in some key positions, specifically in ADC, there's not much of a gold lead. ZZ Dog is only about 60 gold ahead of Astariel. Cole Kane is ahead of Strom. Most of the gold lead is in top, mid, and jungle, particularly in jungle, where Olaf is 3,000.
And here we go, unpausing, and like you said, they suggested to start the Baron, and they are going to start the Baron. So Dream Daddies is going to try to force this game as wide open as possible right now. Make their gold lead as close to instrumental as they can. Or at the very least.
They know it's being done.
There is 3 here. There is no so critically there is no vision, however, on the other side of the pit.
He needs to go in like right now.
Waiting for it.
Oh.
Okay.
Man,
AD carry disconnects again, so we're having some technical difficulties right now. Looks like ZZ Dog is having some issues with
his connection. I will actually say that this pause particularly favors Ravenous Kumquats because I want to. Let me think. Can I toggle blue vision?
Yeah, you can. Just F2.
F2. Okay. So yeah, so they can see.
So F1 is blue, F2 is red.
Yeah.
Yep.
So notably, they can see the Baron because
right now because of Thresh.
Because the lantern's in there. So they now essentially have this whole pause duration to decide. Okay, guys, what do we do? Like in a Smite Steel situation, it's always a panic. Like, oh, when do I go in? And like you're on a hair trigger, but they have a moment to try to like focus up and be like, okay, do we give?
So keep in mind the following as well. Going on to blue vision here, they can see Ahri and Kai'Sa. They for sure know that that's where they are. They do not know where Sejuani is. They do not know where Thresh is.
They can assume that Thresh is there because they can see the lantern.
But they have no idea to be sure. They have no idea where specifically, just because lantern doesn't necessarily indicate his direction.
True.
And they don't know where Sejuani is going to come from as well. So what Sejuani could do is, if she flashes in from like from that gap there, they're not going to be able to close on her fast enough. She's going to be able to smite.
Her Q Arctic Assault is available, so I think the better play would be Q over, try to smite steal, and then either take the lantern out or flash out.
Yeah, Q, W, Q, and then maybe W smite, or something to give her a little bit of extra burst.
She smites at 640, Olaf smites at 680, so it's a very narrow margin right now.
Yeah, she will, W will make, I think W makes up that difference.
It should, right? Let's see, Sejuani's W, first half deals 90 damage, second half deals 315.
So yeah, W smite, if she gets the second slap from her Arctic Assault, that would make up the difference.
The smart play here from Dream Daddies would be to stop DPSing the Baron. Olaf, Taric, Malphite, they're all tanky enough to withstand a couple seconds of damage from Baron, particularly because I believe Olaf is tanking it. Yes, Olaf is tanking it. He has the Void Corruption. He has the Baron's Gaze debuff. So he's full health. Essentially, they could stop DPSing it, let the lantern run out, and then force Sejuani to blind Q.
Yeah, now another thing here they can do as well, given the angles here, Kai'Sa can, given the time they have, move up W as well to hit Baron. And that will also, again, that can contribute to their burst. The same as well as if Soraka can hit a charm onto the Malphite, that'll stop him from halting their attempt. So there is a way. Like this is going to come down to basically how coordinated is each team. Because I can see a world where Kai'Sa W's the Baron to give it additional burst. Ahri charms Malphite to stop him from counter-ulting. Thresh probably hooks someone or is keeping the lantern in play. That way Sejuani can go in, Arctic Assault W, try to smite fight with Olaf if they don't stop DPSing. And I think under those conditions, even if Olaf also bursts, I think Sejuani can come out of that on the top of that.
I think they should, if he can, I think Thresh should hook Taric, because that way it will stop him from stunning Sejuani.
Yeah, and he is stunned exactly right now. So if they go in now, Taric can't stop her.
If she QW's in right now, she has a pretty good shot at getting it.
Like, this is your exact moment with the pause because of the stuns. Okay, looks like we're showing ready again. So, yes, we are basically overanalyzing what effectively is like a 60-40 play, but there's a world where they get this. And if they do get this Baron, that is going to be some real bad news for Dream Daddies. And, okay, they actually are going in. They do get it, however, Sejuani is forced to go out.
Malphite's
Fight
over the
continues.
wall.
Yeah, that's not good for Malphite. He actually could get burned down here. He does escape with some heals.
Yeah, the Chains of Corruption are good, but there's not really enough follow-up damage. So, did Sejuani... Okay, she took the Lantern out, so... Oh.
Yep, okay, so they're going in for the fight again. That's a flash burned. Everyone's pretty much out.
If they waited out, they could probably turn on the Olaf here.
They could, and... like 5 minutes of overanalyzing a play they could make, and they do exactly none of it. Dream Daddies comes out with the Baron.
I think it was a good attempt. Actually, yeah, stun the Malphite. Yeah, make him take aggro. That's
there you go.
It's hard to go into tower when you have Bramble Vest because the person can just attack you and all of a sudden
instant aggro, yeah, and that's like most of his HP gone. There is turrets burned down. Malphite is going to go in for the engage. He does get a pretty good stun. Kaisa flashes out. She's actually alive still. Malphite is being slowly burned down, and Ahri looks like she will get the kill, so that's a big shutdown onto the Malphite.
But they're probably going to lose, yeah, they're losing
they're trading turrets for it. They do need to stop this somehow. Renekton needs to kill Varus here, I think. He does go for it. He does get the stun up. No, they're trying for it. Minion block. That's unfortunate. Renekton goes down. That's a redemption going down as well. Lots of damage goes out onto the Sejuani, onto the Thresh. Thresh dies. Ahri's gonna get killed pretty much by Undertow almost alone as she gets ran down by Olaf. Then Varus comes in, takes the kill. Kaisa doing her best, putting some damage down. However, there's not much she can really do. She does get stunned by the Eclipse. Does not... Ooh, that's... Yep.
Olaf can't
basically playing ring around. Oh, goes for the flash! And Star Call for the kill. That's probably going to be game one.
I'm just going to take the kill.
Yeah, that's game one. Right there.
Oh, and the double ult to finish it off.
Does drag Malphite into tower, or into Fountain, but that doesn't really matter. They're just going to have their KDA, knock down the Nexus, and take game one.
To Dream Daddy.
Yeah, so, they'll take game one. There we go. Somebody finally hits the Nexus.
So you said that they had about 5 minutes at 19 minutes, and they end 4.5 minutes later. Before you have any much anti-heal. So I'd say I had my doubts about the composition from Dream Daddies, but that was very well done.
They hit exactly what they needed to hit, but also they kind of did have a little bit of help from Ravenous Kumquats there, because they were taking fights way too early in that game.
Yeah, and not enough. I know that it's really awkward to invest in that much anti-hero early, but you kind of needed to, and they just didn't get enough anti. I think they probably needed Meg Average to take Ignite instead of Teleport, and they needed some anti-heal real early.
Well, again, they needed, honestly, they probably needed Ignite in 3 lanes. Like, Ignite in 3 lanes, that forces Soraka to not be able to, like, that makes Soraka useless for the first 15 minutes, because her heal is basically non-existent for early fights. As well as that's just a lot of true damage that can't be, it can't be stopped, can't be slowed.
Yeah.
So there's that. It gives your...
Yeah, so we're going to transition to a break. The teams do get up to a 10-minute break in between, and I need to grab something to drink as we get ready to go into game 2. Ravenous Kumquats and Dream Daddies. The teams will be switching sides. Let's see if Ravenous Kumquats can even this up 1-1. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round 2 of Dream Daddies vs. Ravenous Kumquats. Dream Daddies took down the previous division Shurima champions in Game 1, so they are looking to close it out with a decisive 2-0. Ravenous Kumquats are trying to battle their way back and even this up to start their season 1-1. So the teams are getting set up for the pro draft right now. I'm looking forward to Game 2. Dream Daddies ran a very unconventional comp with a Soraka in the mid lane and a lot of it focused around enabling an Olaf with a lot of healing and shields and invulnerability from the Taric, whereas Ravenous Kumquats ran a more traditional league composition.
Yeah, and in this case, RK, again, they had a good scaling composition. I think their composition was good. I think what happened there was they played too much into the hands of what the Dream Daddies wanted to do.
Yeah, I think part was there wasn't really any effort to abuse the Soraka mid early. Not like one almost gank from the Sejuani. Like, if you're up against a Soraka mid, I feel like you should be trying to really punish that. So you either shove her in hard and rotate because we know she doesn't have a lot of weight there, or freeze the lane in the middle and have your jungler just come gank her over and over.
Yeah, and it looks like we are starting up bans once again. So RK is still banning Fiora. They do not want that champion. So I don't think that's changed from last time.
No, they banned the Fiora as well. Roscoe, I don't believe, plays Fiora. And Fiora is good against a number of the champions I've seen him play.
Yeah, so they are going to change up, however, and ban the Malphite. So they think the Malphite is part of the problem. Not so sure how much I agree with that, but they probably just don't want to be having Renekton into Malphite again. And they do ban the Bard.
The Renekton was struggling into the Malphite, so they may just want to make sure that there's not that tank that can kind of stall and then get the guaranteed engage, because it doesn't matter how much Malphite's behind or if it's ahead, he's still got the R button.
So Ravenous Kumquat, however, now waiting for the first pick. So they did ban Kog'Maw and Wukong on Dream Daddy's side, and that's no change from last game. Zach, however, so first pick jungle or top laner, and it goes to Zach.
I'm not. So Zach wasn't picked or banned last game, but it's very similar to the Sejuani, tanky, engaged, CC jungler, and that may just be the style that they prefer to have Tempest play.
That's a Lee Sin hover. That this would actually be a good answer to Zach.
Yep, Lee can kick him out if he tries to go in. They do lock it in.
Yep, so Lee Skin, or at least
another early game jungler.
Yeah, good early game jungler. Traditionally viewed as a champion with a very high skill floor and an even higher skill ceiling. So it is very demanding on the jungler to execute, not just his mechanical combos. Those actually aren't that hard. It's just more of knowing when to apply what he does.
Yes.
And how to apply it. So that's the big thing here. He is kind of this weird hybrid. He's a bruiser, but he is a bruiser that likes to gank, but he also likes to have a little bit of farm first. And that is a Nautilus coming in as well. That's looking pretty scary.
I assume that's a Nautilus support.
Yeah, Nautilus is not really useful.
Nautilus is supposed to be Alistar.
Okay, that's
okay, I mean that's very similar. Alistar is a little less reliable in some ways than
yeah, but he does bring a mass heal, and he does bring a spicier. Is that a Teemo? Are we actually seeing a Teemo?
Teemo is Lucian.
Okay, so
alright, so Pro Draft has struck again, folks.
Yeah.
So Dream Daddies have selected. Okay, so Braum Lucian is a very solid combo. I like that pick from Ravenous Kumquats. It's a classic combo in lane, easy stuns. Lucian's a good early game ADC.
Also good for the mid game as well, and he actually does scale. So that's something that a lot of people don't realize is Lucian does scale. He just doesn't scale as hard as other AD carries.
And a lot of Lucian's issue is his lack of range. Like there are ADCs like Sivir who scale technically well, but the risk is they have to put themselves in a lot of danger to apply damage. So
That is
I find the
so that's Ezreal Alistar. That's a weird lane, I think.
Yeah, Ezreal's usually like a safe farming ADC. He doesn't want to engage a lot early. He doesn't do a ton of early damage. He really prefers like poke supports or enchanters who just kind of want to harass and survive lane. Whereas Nautilus is very much like an early game, hard engage support. He's like, we're going in, we're going for kills because. I'm sorry, it's not the Nautilus. It is
Alistar. I mean, either way,
But
the point still stands. Alistar is actually probably even more raring to go in and get aggressive than Nautilus, just because like Nautilus can at least act as a disengage. All of Alistar's disengage is going face first into the people that want to kill you anyway. Nautilus can stun them and move, and then hook out or something.
I do like the Alistar pick though because Alistar, in my mind, is one of the tankiest supports on a low budget because of how powerful his ultimate Unbreakable Bill is. Like
that and his free healing and also his myriad of stuns. That is a Maokai coming in for Dream Daddies. And they did ban Zillion Orin for RK and Silas Syndra, so the mid lane ban's still coming through thick and fast for them.
Yep.
Mordekaiser picked in response. I'm pretty sure that's going top lane.
Yeah.
Not sure the Mordekaiser Maokai matchup. Maokai is
favored.
Yeah, Maokai is not the strongest of tanks at the moment.
Yeah. Well, he's actually pretty good at the moment, but he's just weak at the first few levels. His base damages aren't very good. His percent damage is on the saplings, which is kind of easy to dodge. He really needs to get to 4 or 5 points in his Q around level 7 and 8 before he really gets to be strong, because that's when the Q starts doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's also when he can actually clear waves. That's his big issue right now. Is he can't clear waves. Okay, so they're picking the Soraka again. So Soraka mid again, most likely here for Dream Daddies.
So Dream Daddies is a great front line in the Maokai and the Alistar to be healed, but once again, I mean, admittedly, this is what we doubted them for in Game 1, and they did win, was a lack of damage.
I mean, I think in this case they do have better damage than that previous team. Lee Sin is definitely a much better champion for damage. And Ezreal, yes, he is a very safe, non-interactive laner, but depending on how you build him, he very much can pump out damage. It's not the constant right-click laser beam of death that other AD carries are. So his damage is a little weird and skill dependent, but it is damaged and it is a lot of damage.
I do like the Veigar pick from Ravenous Kumquats, though. I wonder if they were expecting another Soraka, because if you're like, okay, Dream Daddy's mid Nicky Might is playing too safe. We aren't able to effectively punish the Soraka. And maybe Mega Average is like, look, I don't have a kind of early game bully that would really threaten it. They're like, okay, we'll go the other way and we'll just also scale. Because Veigar doesn't mind a passive laner who can't threaten him. He prefers it. Rocket doesn't have a way out of the cage. And it doesn't matter how much Rocket tries to heal if someone dies in the Veigar combo. Like, if you get obliterated by Primordial Burst, you can't heal dead people.
Not yet. Just wait. That will be a future rework to Soraka, and we all know it.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that would be more the new, like the next champion to steal something. Like Nico steals your appearance, Silas steals your ult, Zoe steals your summon spell. Someone's gonna steal like your teammate and temporarily make them their team. Mord used to do that, but
that would be weird.
Mord used to do that, which is pretty fun, but.
Yeah, with the old ghost. Technically, Lissandra does it.
Yes, true, with the frozen thralls.
Yeah, however, she turns your teammate into a one-way suicide bomber, so a little weird. But going back to some happier thoughts here as fans are coming through.
So once again, I think that Ravenous Kumquats have set themselves up with very strong lanes. Particularly their side lanes. Mord is just going to beat Maokai early. That's just kind of how it is. Mord's very good into tanks, especially tanks with weak earlies. Maokai can get good against him in the mid game, but if Roscoe, leans on it hard enough, he'll have assembled a pretty good CS lead and maybe gotten some kills by then.
I actually think of an idea here. This is probably crazy. They could potentially lane swap the Mord into the Soraka early on, and then have Mord just destroy her.
I would not actually do that. I think that's actually worse for Ravenous Kumquats, because having played Mord into top lane Soraka, the issue with Mord against a ranged opponent is that you're super dependent on Death's Grasp, which has a pretty long cooldown. And it works against melees because they have to be up close to you, but against a ranged opponent who's already at what's essentially the max range, it's telegraphed enough that it's not that hard to dodge. Soraka could just use the slow and the silence to kite Mord, and outside of like flashing on her and then ulting, he's not really going to be able to. He's going to Nicky would have to step forward too much and take like a grab when Zach was in the area. So I actually think Veigar into Raka is the better option because Veigar doesn't have to punish the Soraka. He can just farm and be fine, and as long as he doesn't get ganked by Lee, he's okay. And Mord will be able to bully the Maokai better than the Soraka.
Yeah, that's a fair point here. One thing I will say, this is something that's kind of come up concerning RK's comp this time around. Yes, they have the Zac, but I really don't see outside of Veigar, like there's not really a lane that they want to gank per se. Probably mid lane, because again, you want to deny Soraka as much as possible. But you're not really ganking bot lane. Like you're not ganking bot lane. You could gank top, although that is a lane that can very easily turn your gank around if Lee is there.
Yeah, so. But for most of the game, Mord will have if it's a 2v2 early, the damage from Mord will beat the damage from Maokai and probably equal the damage from Lee. And if it's post 6, Mord could ult Lee and probably 1v1 him, and then Zac and Maokai just kind of slap each other around some, have some good old fisticuffs. I think bot's gankable pre-6, because Alistar, as you mentioned, doesn't really have disengage, he doesn't have escapes, particularly if they can bait out the Alistar headbutt pulverize. Like if Lucian or Braum intentionally lets themselves take it, then they can
gank him there.
Yeah. And Alistar has no other escape outside of his flash, and Ezreal's not going to do enough damage to try to turn that gank. So I think Zac actually has a lot of options to gank. I think his main issue is going to be not getting killed by Lee in his own jungle or at Scuttle. So I would like
that's to what see. We're going to be that's definitely what we're going to be taking a look on, is seeing how Lee pushes his massive damage demands really on Zac.
Mm-hmm.
See if he can either invade. It's probably going to be, clear red side invade or try to meet him at Scuttle is what I would be thinking that Lee would do.
What I would like to see is, because there's lane priority in top and probably lane priority in bot, is and this is something my team has worked on with our jungler when we are in matchups where our jungler is weaker early than the other jungler, is communicating, okay, I want to play for the Scuttle, having your top laner or bot laner like hard shove the lane, clear out the wave as fast as you can, and then rotate to 2-man the Scuttle so that if Lee comes, it's a 2v1.
Yeah, and that's definitely that's probably what they're going to be looking to do here. Now we are 20 seconds down here in draft, or in spectator delay.
So who do you think's going to take it?
In the long run, I like RK's comp at the surface level, what they can do. Again, it's going to come down to, are they going to do what they did last game and kind of just ignore the healing factor that Soraka brings, or are they going to actually this time try to play around it and try to just either A, out damage it, or B, accept that you have to spend gold on the heal reduction?
Mm-hmm. I do like Ravenous Kumquats team in this their composition in this match, just because with the Veigar pick, they don't have to punish the Soraka. The RE felt like if she wasn't killing the Soraka frequently, she wasn't going to bring as much to the team. But Veigar's like, hey man, just give me some time and I'll just press R on people. Looking at Keystones, Conqueror on the Mord and the Lee, Grasp on Maokai, Aftershock on the Zac. This all looks pretty standard, pretty expected. The only one thing that jumps up to me is the Dark Harvest Ezreal.
Okay, so this is okay. It is a strat. It's mostly a solo queue strat, and basically the entire point of it is Dark Harvest is broken. Ezreal has a lot of poke. He has fairly reliable poke. You would just basically with your support poke either their support or their AD carry out and get free Dark Harvest stacks. Normally you would use it against melee supports like Braum. Looks like, however, RK is going to go straight up for... Oh, it is effectively just 2 5v5s already at level 1. Alistar is getting bursted down. He has to flash out, and he does go down to Lucian, so that's a first kill. Kill him 1 for Lucian comes in play. That's going to be a second slow. That's going to be Lee Sin coming in. That could be potentially very dangerous. Double kill comes down. Is traded out, and not a triple kill, but pretty close, and we've already gotten a very massive lead on Lucian.
Yeah, the heal's a little late, but 2 kills on the Lucian now is tremendously valuable.
Yeah, all summoner spells burned for the Ezreal, flash burned for Alistar. Exhaust never once came down. I think Exhaust probably could have done something there. But
I think by the time that he was stunned up, it was too late, because Exhaust doesn't work on Ignite, and he flashed out immediately afterward, but he just ticked down to the Ignite at that point. Veigar got 2 assists. How much did Veigar get per stack? Veigar has received 11 AP, so he essentially has like 200 gold worth of free ability power already.
And about that much in actual gold too, so.
Yeah.
Zach here getting a good leash. Lucian coming in already decide to spend that first blood money and extra kills on double longswords and some extra double longswords. So 600 or 700 gold right just out the gate right there.
Yeah, my guess would be Essence Reaver or Blade of the Ruined King, both of which are very strong first items.
Yeah, speaking of Blade of the Ruined King, I actually think Lee Sin could make use of that here.
Yeah, you've got 3 tanks on the side of Ravenous Kumquats.
Yeah, especially given the move. Oh, okay, there's the grasp coming in from Mordekaiser. A little bit of damage here, and Maokai is pushed out of lane again. He's going to miss some of those CS. It's a bit of a slowdown, and bit of an engage there in bot lane, but yeah, Ezreal can't even approach the wave right now. So yeah, Ravenous Kumquats off to a great start.
This is what happens in this lane. Maokai basically has to sit under tower and kind of get what farm he can.
Yeah, now he does have a little bit of help. Braum is actually... Yeah, you know you're... Okay, that's probably a mistake there, as Lee Sin is forced to flash and smite the Grump. But now the Grump is recruited over the side of Ravenous Kumquats for a moment. They're now 3 versus 2, so this is probably a little bit... Yeah, Braum's dead here. Too aggressive.
Greedy from Ravenous Kumquats.
Yeah, way too aggressive there. Lucian manages to dodge, they go over. Lee Sin misses the Q. Cage does come down, so Veigar helping disengage Lucian. Good flash. But yeah, they're just gonna run Lucian down here. He doesn't have the ability to do anything. That's a big shutdown that goes onto the Lee Sin. She's not a champion you really want to be doing that on. And Lee Syndrome almost gets him killed. He's very lucky Veigar didn't have Cage there.
I like the play of trying to invade, like, you know, you have a strong bot lane, you shove their bot lane in so they're not in a position to rotate, but you didn't have Zac. Like, I'm not sure why they decided they wanted to try to fight in the enemy jungle when their jungle wasn't even there.
Yep. And then Dreamed it. So like they literally just walked up and smacked them. And also another thing I'll note here is really the play you make there is after you get that push up, you just go in there, you just ward that cross section there. Because you see Grump still up. Lee's gonna have to eventually come to Grump anyway. Even if you see him, you ward that section there, he can't clear it and you walk away.
Yeah, and he flashed. I feel like you could you get the Lee Sin. Oh, tank on the Raka. She's slowed.
She's probably gonna die here. And yeah, they're trying to give it to Veigar, but he's not there fast enough, so Zac's just gonna end that right there. That's a kill that goes down to the Zac, which is very much needed. He is farming a little better than Lee Sin, but those 2 kills are keeping Lee pretty much even.
Roscoe, I think, watched my stream of the finals from last time, where I harped on him for not using his heal enough as Mord. When you're up against a mana-using champion and you're Mord, use your heals out to sustain them.
There we go. That's a good grasp. Mord looking to do a quick tower dive here. He does get the kill, so quick 1, 2, 3, tower dives out. There's enough minions there, and he does reset turret aggro that he can just walk right through his turret and no punishment whatsoever.
Lee's coming in bot.
Yeah, however, there is a gank in bot side, and they are going to try to push the advantage here. Stun does come down onto Lee. Lee's going to get killed, so the gank is turned around, and it's going to be a stun fight here. Braum forced to back off. Ezreal does not get it. They are actually still down. Yes, Lucian died, but there's not really much they can do. Braum jumps in, forces the Alistar to flash, and the gank, despite the attempt, goes down in favor of Ravenous Kumquats either way, in spite of the kills gifted over in their previous invade, and that's because their bot Ezreal hasn't had time to shop yet.
Yeah, and
Lucian
is
still
not
stronger
tanky at this point. Like, he's got Caulfield's Warhammer. I think he just bought the buff armor. Like, he's still only got like 750 health. He really shouldn't be frontlining that threatening combo of Lucian Braum.
Yeah, and Ezreal literally almost dies to a Braum, like to Winter's Bite. Like, that's pretty rough. Going back over to mid lane here. Vigar doing fine. He's up 35 to 29. Yeah, here we go. That's going to be a kill. Yeah, that's going to be a kill. That's going to be a kill there. So, does do the return gank. That's good. That's actually a smart thing to do there because we already know that Ravenous Kumquats is going to greed for it.
Yeah, the bot lane, Istariel and Cole Kane are doing really good, but they're also like, we have a quick pause.
Yeah, may have had some issues here.
Istariel so their bot lane has been involved in all of Dream Daddy's kills. All of their kills are Lucian and Braum.
Yep.
I feel like they maybe they're feeling pressure from game one and feeling like they've got need to sort of pop off in this game, or they've just let the early lead go to their head a bit. But I think they kind of need to rein it back because they're at risk of giving away much of the lead they assembled. Lucian just gave a bounty to Lee Sin. Ezreal has collected, how many Dark Harvest stacks does he have? He has 4 souls for Dark Harvest. And they're not really that far behind into the CS. So I feel like sometimes taking the safer play to just trying to choke someone out, as opposed to being like, we're just going to roam everywhere and kill everyone, is the better option.
Yeah, and especially on Lucian. Yes, if Lucian gets 2 kills, like solo kill Lucian is literally 2 kills, game done in solo queue. But this isn't solo queue, and you're still just a Lucian with a Lee Sin on the other team. You can still very easily be taken out. You're still a squishy champion. Yes, you have a Braum, but as seen there, if you push it too hard, like Braum can only help you so much. After that, if they push hard enough, and Alistar is definitely a champion that can counter engage. That is one of his stronger suits or stronger points. Is like you die and then you feed over your massive lead, which is exactly what he's done here. Like Ezreal is not behind right now because of those kills gifted over.
Mm-hmm.
So whilst before you had an 80 carry that could literally do nothing, you now have an 80 carry that gets to sit back and basically be non-interactive with your lane, waiting for you to try to come and kill him.
Notably, he is about 400 gold behind Lucian, but he's got 2,000 in the pocket. Oh.
Yep. He got 2,000 in pocket, and he has his tier and his sheen, so he's actually set up pretty much for the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, he's got farm, he's got some damage, he's got some...
Yeah, and look at that. We got Lee Sin here, Lee Sin here on the invade for the red. They don't see this.
Saw that and...
No, he didn't. They have no vision. And he's about to get collapsed on here because that's an Alistar headbutt pulverize. And here we go. Zach is going to go into his passive. Vigar is here to help. There's a teleport coming down to try to stop Zach from dying, which does work. So it's now 3 versus 2. However, Zach is very low HP. He does go for the left bounce. And ult comes down. So the excellent response from RK. Yeah, Lee's in the death realm. He gets killed. So a little bit overzealous, I think, on that engage there.
Yeah, like I think that I think the initiation was good, but part of the problem was the more TP comes down to to prevent Zach from dying while he's in his passive. Cheese Blaze doesn't interrupt. I don't know if he wasn't in range or didn't realize it until too late. Excuse me.
Yep, so no interruption comes down. They do, off of that kill, by the way, do go pick Mountain Drake, which, yeah, the buffs are smaller, but when you're giving up Braum, Zach, and Mordekaiser extra resists, things are going to get kind of scary.
Yeah, I also think Nikki might kind of panic there and ulted at the beginning when, like, Alistar and Lee were full health. Zach didn't really get much damage off for going into the passive, and so the Wish didn't really do anything. I don't know if there was a fight maybe in the bot lane that it was for, or to try to save herself from Veigar, but if they'd saved that for later, Lee or Alistar might have lived.
Now, as it stands, Alistar is dead. This is another gank. The cage comes out.
And they force Mega Average's flash.
Yep, flashing cage is forced out. That's the proper invade this time.
Yeah, you brought your jungler.
As Braum and Zek go gank the blue buff. And right here, Lucian can literally 2v1. And he does get to do it. So the headbutt pulverize does come down. Nothing Alistar can really do. That's the ultimate coming out as well. True Shot Barrage doesn't hit anything, however, and Ezreal's in a really awkward spot. He does get his Dark Harvest stack. He is dodging, he is dipping, he is ducking, he is diving. And he is dodging, and then there we go. Lucian's flash comes out. Lucian ult comes out as well. Yeah, that looked a little more like a flash kick, but yeah, didn't go well there. Lucian flashes out of it as well. And they go to safety here. Now they bring 3, so this is 3 versus 3, but the health bars are very low. Dream Daddies could look for a dive here. Ravenous Kumquats recognizes that and is going to back off and let him have plates.
So I'm looking at the top lane itemization, and I like what Maokai is doing a little better. He's going for his Abyssal Mask, which, if you're a tank that uses mana, does magic damage, you're up against a magic damage champ, is a great starting item. I'm a little torn on the Proto Belt for Lord. I really like Proto Belt on Mordekaiser. It gives him health, AP, and CBR, the 3 stats he cares about most. And it gives him additional damage in a way to get to or stick to squishies, which is something that he really struggles with. But I don't like it first unless you're up against like a squishy range champ, because...
Okay, here we go. Rift Herald fight happening, by the way, while we're talking about this. Mordekaiser does burn ult, doesn't matter though, Rift Herald is picked up.
Yeah, that was the mouth ult there. And Zach does pick up the Rift Herald.
That is good. The cage does come down. This is a potential for an engage, but I don't think they have more damage. Yeah, Rocket Flash is down. They do, however, pick up Scuttle Crab in return. Poor consolation prize, but that's what you get. And with that absence there of the Alistar, bot lane just gets to push up and equalize the number of plates.
Yeah, that's true. Ezreal, they've done a good job with the last push to get a lot of plates, but now
Ezreal is actually stuck behind his tower here, and they are able to dive as well. Ignite was good.
Really good predict.
It was, and
Least tanking, but
yeah, I mean they do trade.
But it's 1 for 2 because they're really good Soraka ults.
Good Soraka ult, good dodge from Ezreal allows him to avoid most of that damage. And rather than back out, because you know Alistar's on his way, they decide to try to force the dive harder, and they're not able to juggle aggro correctly.
Well, Braum tanks it pretty well, but I think the problem is that he didn't expect the Alistar on the backside. Realistically, it's a good dive, except that the Soraka ult comes out. And that's one thing, when you're playing against a champion like Karthus, like Soraka, like Shen, where they have these ults that affect the entire map,
you need to be aware of them.
You need to have good communication with your team.
Oh, here we go. Lee Sin goes in, gets a quick Sonic Brave, and does go right back out. Yeah, that's a good cage, and Lee Sin's gonna get deleted.
The outplay button is deployed.
Yep.
Lord's ulted the Maokai, they're fighting.
Yeah, Maokai doesn't really have the ability to stop that fight, though. He's gonna get run down here, probably. If Grasp comes out, he is dead. Yep, Grasp comes out, and yoinks his soul. Rift Herald goes down into the mid lane. 1 plate remaining for that one. Veigar is actually surprisingly low here, but he's got enough mana that he's still a threat.
And is he really scared of a Raka with Merc Treads and 2 Fairy Charms running him down?
Yeah, no, you're probably more scared about that True Shot Barrage, which is off cooldown right now.
Or like a really, muscular minion, perhaps.
Yep. True Shot Barrage does come out, and there is no buff minions today, so Vigar decides it's a good time to back away. And he still has like 2 minutes to get those plates, so there's a very real chance they could easily, group mid, get that full 5 plate turret. And instead, RK is gonna go grab a second dragon here. It's once more Ocean Mountain this time, so we're gonna get that's a scary dragon.
More with Infernal Soul, very dangerous.
Vigar with Infernal Soul as well, and Lucian has it as well. Okay, True Shot Barrage not enough.
Lucian
Why'd you go back in?
He went through the crab.
Yep. Lucian went to do the crab, however, he's now back in for the fight. Alistar coming in as well, but he just doesn't have the damage. Soraka is pinning him down. Heal comes up. That's going to be the Sonic Wave Resonance for the Execute going down onto him. Vigar, however, taking Alistar's life in return.
Soraka's on the wrong side of the map now.
Yep. Raka's not in a really good spot here. There is enough damage. Yep. Cage comes down, and she runs into her own cage. That's a lot of damage going down. She could try maybe to get someone. No, she can't. She's a Soraka. Like, you die here. Yep, the heavy metal comes down, and that's going to be some hard rock and rolling onto Soraka's head.
Let's see, so, while Ravenous Kumquats are pushing out this lane, they should be able to get this tower without, I don't think they'll need to use the Rift Herald.
Yeah, they're not going to get plates here. Plates are down. Alistar coming in, tried to delay this tower take as long as possible. Cage comes out. Zac does die, or does go to passive. But there we go. The outplay button once more, so the tower dive is automatically a win anyway. Ezreal does trade into Mordekaiser, and Vigar trades into Ezreal. This is going to be a cage match here between Lee Sin and...
strikes off the target. Stretching strikes are going to pull him back.
It is still very close here. If Lee Sin can dodge Vigar, I think he can get a kill on one of the two. He doesn't feel like it right now. He is waiting. He's waiting. He does go over. He does safeguard. None of them are going to take the bait, though. They're not going to go up. And Lee Sin's going to go back into lane. He may try to find someone. He does find Vigar. That's a problem.
Oh, and the kick is not quite enough damage.
Nope. Just barely not enough. And Vigar deletes him.
Yep.
However, Ezreal snipes Vigar. So there we go. The trade comes out in the end anyway. It is now it's our 29k to 25k, 17 to 11 kills, multiple turrets down, 3 turrets down now across 2 different lanes. Yeah. 2 Drakes up. Ravenous Kumquats, they've decided that they're tired of Soraka, and they're making sure she doesn't have a lane to farm in at the moment.
I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Ravenous Kumquats this game. I feel like they recognized the issues they had in the first game. One of which was Roscoe once he fell behind against the Malphite, couldn't really get back in because he was on early fully. This time they put him on an even stronger matchup, and he's teleporting all over the map to turn fight. So he's now 4-1, even though he did lose his tower to Maokai. And they're like, all right, Roscoe got too much of a free lane. Let's finish her off this time.
Maokai does go in.
Is going to attempt to finish off the Maokai, but he doesn't have enough damage.
Yeah, Vigar, however, is casually... Yeah, Vigar taking his blue buff as well, or a blue buff. This is a little bit of a scary position to be in here for Dream Daddies. Lee Sin does get out of the cage, Alistar does not. That's going to be a now kiss moment from Zac as he goes in with the less bounce. That is a lot of damage coming down from the Dark Matter.
They got stuck on the backside.
Yeah, he's fighting a tank. Dark Matter comes down again. I don't think that's quite the kill just yet. There we go. Lucian takes out the Malphite. Actually, that wasn't Dark Matter. That was the mini nuke coming out of Vigar. So 1 trade there overall. A little dicey, but that is the one. The fight is won by Ravenous Kumquats.
And they are going to take the second Rift Herald. So Zac has a good engage there. But they don't manage to quite get on to...
Soraka's dead here. Oh, no, she does burn heal. And Ezreal pops in, deletes... Yeah, both Lucian...
He should be able to turn this here. He's got the
he does. They does turn. He actually does turn. The heal is successful there. Ezreal pops in, deletes Lucian, deletes Vigar before his Vigar can press his skill buttons on him. And then he also gets a quick kill onto Braum as well in the extended fight. Soraka, however, is very low and is going to get out of there because there is just the off chance that a random Mordekaiser could wander into your lane, or a random Zac. like these two have right here, as they are now getting smacked. All right, there we go. Alistar knocks Zac back out, decides it's not worth the effort, and leaves.
Yep.
Lee Sin here, found nice and all alone. Not really much he can do. Does dodge the mace. Does get the Q. Are we going to Lee Syndrome this? No, we're not.
Yeah,
we're
Mort
smart
did
here.
have the ult there. I don't think Lee would have won that fight. He doesn't have any magic at this point.
Yeah, and unlike Camille, you can't kick Mord out of his own ult. So,
yes. You also, if you're Poppy, you can't stun him against the edge of the ult.
Interesting. And that is going to be a Drake take over to Dream Daddy, so they do take advantage of the one skirmish in mid lane to pick up that first Infernal Drake, which their team likes that. Their team really likes that Drake.
Mm-hmm. And so notably now, like, Ezreal's on 2 items, Lucian is not. Ezreal is really strong compared to Istario's Lucian. The rest of the team is more ahead of their counterparts, and I'm going to try to increase his lead with Rift out here.
Mm-hmm.
That's going up to engage. He's kicked out.
I will say one thing though. Lee Sin has not gone Black Cleaver, or has gone Black Cleaver instead of Blade of the Rune King. He has gone Warrior as well.
Oh, good mortal on the Soraka.
Yep, Soraka's taken out of the fight. Lucian takes out Alistar, so in the extended fight, Soraka goes down as well. Zac, however, is pretty much out of this one. The turret does go down in the mid lane. Maokai doing what he can.
Yeah,
there we go. The Primordial Burst does a lot of damage. Lucian finishes him off. Health bars are very low. Lee Sin gets the passive, gets stunned. However, he's probably gonna die here. He does.
Yep.
That's a Vigar. Ezreal takes out Braum in the back end of that trade. They do, however, get the turret and they get the mid inhib. That's a prime position to set up for this Baron on respawn.
Yeah, so that was a very good push for Ravenous Kumquats, and I think they're like, okay, Lucian's really strong, Ezreal's really strong, but we've got the Rift Herald, and the rest of us are also really strong. Let's force an objective, rather than just giving Ezreal time to kind of calmly scale up.
Yep, which is exactly what he's doing here. He has more mana right now. He has the Trinity Force. So this isn't blue build Ezreal. This is murder Ezreal.
Yep.
Ezreal is tired of sitting back and playing defensive. He is going to kill you if he gets the time to do it.
I would assume this is a Blade of the King coming out of him.
That would be probably his best bet there, because he likes
QSS. I wouldn't hate a QSS here.
Yeah, that just makes him impossible to lock down at that point, and then
yeah,
there's nothing Vigar can do.
Mortal, QSS the Cage.
QSS Zac, QSS Braum. Like there's a lot of ways you can get out of it, and that's already on a slippery champion.
So they're setting up vision around Baron. They are going to claim the top tier 1. So with the supers in mid and their lane, so I think Ravenous Kumquats are in a pretty good position to set up Baron. Maokai takes a lot of damage here.
Yep.
They force out the Wish.
So it's going to be Blade of the Rune King and Essence Reaver, by the way, for the Lucian. So 2 items now on that Lucian. He is probably the strongest he's going to be for this entire game.
Yep. Notably, Maokai has no armor. He's built entirely magic resist, which makes sense because there's 4 magic damage dealers on the side of Ravenous Kumquats. The Vagar is fed, you're fighting the Mort a lot, but it means that if Lucian does get on him, Lucian will still get him.
Yep, now they're actually going to 4-man Baron here. As Mordekaiser is, Mordekaiser teleporting in now. He teleports into that backline. Lee Sin kicks him out, waiting for his opportunity here, maybe go for the, he does a lot of damage here. He does get the heals off. He's doing what he can. Lee Sin, however, will take him. Baron goes down in the meantime as well to Zac. Maokai ult goes wide, does lock Zac down. Braum looking like he might lose some HP here. However, Primordial Burst comes down and takes the Maokai instead. That's a good disengage ultimate from Braum. They're just gotta walk away here. And oh, there we go. The flash headbutt pull does not clear the wall. But Lee Sin does get in the back line, does take out the Braum. Alistar doing what he can, literally walking out of this fight because nobody focused him. Zac goes down to Ezreal.
Vagar's just teleported into the base. He's going to try to end the game.
Yeah, Ezreal actually kills. So Ezreal actually does kill Lucian in the back as well. So it's
I'm not sure they're going to get back in time. I think Meg Average is just going to end it here.
Maybe.
He just drops the cage on himself. They don't really have the ability to get in.
They don't really have the ability to engage there. They're trying to go around multiple people stunned. He actually does get it, though.
Yes.
The backdoor works.
Game 2 goes to Ravenous Kumquats with the teleporting Vagar backdoor. That is not how I expected this game to end, but I'm glad it did end that way. So, Ravenous Dream Daddies come back from a really rough start. They give up 2 kills off of an early invade. Their bot lane is hugely behind. They're getting pressured up the tower. They're getting jumped off the farm. But Ezreal ends 11-4. Like, ZZ Dog did a phenomenal job of coming back from it. But in the end, I think the top and the mid really kind of secured it because Roscoe was just on a matchup that is super Mord favored, and then he used that to impact the map really well. And Mega Average just scaled. Like, Nicky Might was ganked, didn't get as many items. Vagar had a lot of stacks, so this was well played by both teams. I think the Soraka mid is something that other teams will need to keep in mind when playing against Dream Daddies because it clearly can work quite well. But Ravenous Kumquats do figure out a way to beat it, and they even up the series 1-1. Yep, so we're going to go to a quick break. We are going to be casting more games today. They are going to be VOD games for the next 2 series, and then later on we have another live game this evening. So I'll be casting the next game, but we were going to take a short break to get that set up, and we will return soon.